Yeah, so like with the alternator charging, it's actually showing that there's current going into the battery at 10 amps.
So a clamp meter can be very useful for non-intrusive testing of various current draws. And this is the Smart Digital Clamp Meter TCM-300D from TESMEN. Go ahead and get her out of the box here. Comes in a nice case, I see. Oh, and there's the user's manual. And the user's manual is a thick boy on here. Wow, look at this. Oh, of course it's in multiple languages, that's why. Well, I might refer back to that in a minute, but let's go ahead and zip this guy open. Oh, batteries are included, that's nice. And hey, it just uses AAAs instead of a 9-volt, that's kind of nice. Wow, this baggie is fully sealed. Get her off there. I like this nice green color. Is this a screen protector? Do we need to take that off? Yep, there we go. Yeah, I'll make it look much nicer. Oh, and your cables are captured by a little elastic thing here. That's nice. Looks like we have a temperature probe and your standard multimeter probes. Oh, it looks like your manual can slip into this little pouch right here. That's nice and handy. Oh, we need a screwdriver to open the battery compartment. The screw is not captivated, so watch out for that. You just pop the batteries in, easy peasy. So as soon as the meter powers on, it starts hunting for what it is you're trying to do, scanning through amps, volts, ohms, and continuity. I guess that's it, trying to, figure out what you're about to measure. Yeah, it's just a basic plastic body here. There's no overmolding anywhere, and the clamp is a nice size. If you want to take it off of auto, you just hit this function button, and it starts cycling through the different modes. And it looks like it defaults to DC. That's kind of nice. Pretty much everything I'm going to be doing is in DC, but maybe if you're an electrician, that's not so good. And these first 4 settings over here, you have an auto, but in order to get over to these others, you have to hit the function button. You have a diode test, you have millivolt, got hertz, capacitance, the temperature, and then your non-contact little tip up here. If you ever want to switch back to auto, you just hold down the function button there and it switches back. If you want to be able to see your min and max readings, you can click this button here and it'll capture that for you. And then just hold it back down and it goes back to real-time display. I think we're definitely going to try that out here in a little bit. If you want to switch to AC, you hit the select button over here, and I'm guessing that's going to work for voltage too. Yep, switches the voltage to AC. It's kind of funny that it just always displays the temperature here. I don't know what the deal with that is. I wonder if there's somewhere in here that we can change that. Besides these buttons down here, the only other button I see is up here. Oh, the H, I guess, is hold. So that just puts a hold on there. But if you hold it down, it actually turns on the little light here. And yeah, the light isn't, anything to really write home about, but, it's a light for when you need it. Oh, and you gotta hold it down to turn it back off. You hold down the power button and it powers off. Hold it down to turn it back on. There's a little self-calibration there. So here's the specifications if you want to take a quick look at that. The display is 6,000 count and it's rated for 600 volts, and it says up here 600 amps also. This little bit right here is a little disappointing. It says the minimum identifiable DC current is 0.8 amps. So this thing's not really going to be suitable for parasitic draw testing. And that's kind of a bummer because that's one of the things I really like using amp clamps for, because you can clamp onto your battery cable and you don't have to do like an intrusive test where you put your meter in between the battery cable and the battery, because a lot of times that'll actually wake up different modules and whatnot. And here's a real thorough list of the resolution and accuracy on this guy. You guys can pause on this if you're curious to read it, and then there's another page over here. Well, the probes here seem pretty standard, and they come with the little protector thingies. That's nice and handy to have. Oh, which that's kind of funny. These little rubber caps don't actually protect the tips. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what the point of these things are then. I want to leave it on auto for a minute and see if it can pick out what we're trying to test. I have several components here, but I guess the first thing we'll do is just test the battery. Yeah, there we go. It locked onto the voltage, and this looks like a good healthy battery. Now for capacitors, we actually have to go over here manually, so we'll skip that. But let me grab a resistor here. Alrighty, automatically switch to resistance. And it's not exactly fast because it has to auto range in the resistance scale too. But that looks pretty good. Let's just try another one real quick. Oh, that's funny. This is a very low ohm resistor and it like defaulted into continuity. So maybe let's switch it to resistance and see if it does that again. No, there we go. It's measuring the resistance correctly. Although this is a 4.7 ohm resistor and it's showing 5.4. And we'll just try this one too. There you go. It's actually measuring the mega ohms too, which this is a 1 mega ohm, so it's slightly off, but you know, I think that's within tolerance. So I guess we should see just, you know, what the leads are themselves. Wow, there you go. Okay, 0.5 ohms, 1 ohm. It's kind of drifting around a little bit. Now click it over on continuity here. We've already experienced that. You know, that's nice and fast. You definitely want your continuity beep to be like real quick. So yeah, that's good. I like that. Let's go ahead and switch on over to diode test. There you go. It's reading the forward voltage of the diode. We can do the same thing for the LED here. And I don't know if you can tell, but it vaguely lights up the LED. See? That's always fun, right? Let's see, hertz. See if it reads anything. Yeah, there you go. Showing 50% duty cycle, which, you know, that should indicate a good sine wave, and 60 hertz. Good job, power company. All right, up next is capacitance. Well, it takes it a second here to auto range on there, but yeah, okay, there you go. Good capacitance reading. We'll try a different type of capacitor here. Yeah, very nice. Okay, good deal. I'm not too worried about the temperature measurement at all. We can check our non-contact. Bring my awesome 80s clock over here just because it's nice and convenient. But yeah, there you go. All right, well, I'm satisfied with the meter functions. Now let's go try out this clamp. All right, I got this battery hooked up to the battery charger, and hopefully you can see on the display here, it'll show it's going at like 7.9 amps. I wanted to use this little battery charger because it actually shows you how many amps it's doing. But let's get this on here. And it's reading 7.8, and this guy up here says it's doing 7.9. And of course, it's going the wrong way. So here, let's flip that around. There you go. Yeah, so it's reading 7.8 on the battery charger, 7.76 on the meter. So, you know, I don't know like which one of these would be more accurate, but yeah, they're both in the ballpark. So good job. You know, I've always been curious how many amps this thing draws whenever it's cranking over. It's kind of interesting. I just had the car running, and I know it's not asleep, and right now it's drawing 1.4 amps just sitting here doing nothing. That's freaking crazy. I mean, I got the door open, but that seems like a lot. And as you can see, the clamp is like directional. Currently it's reading negative amps, but you know, if I was able to flip the clamp over or like put it on the wire a different direction, it would actually read positive amps. But you know, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't really matter. It is good to know like what direction current is flowing though sometimes, so that is a really good feature to have. But I'll get you guys set up here, and I think I will set it to max, so hopefully it'll show the actual maximum. Well, I don't know. I guess this is going to be an experiment. Since it's reading negative currently, do I need to set it on minimum instead of max? That's kind of interesting. We'll find out in just a second. I hope you guys don't fall over when I start the car, but let's give it a go. Well, it's actually saying overloaded on there, so I guess it takes more than 600 amps to crank this over. I actually kind of find that surprising, but you know, it is what it is. I'll have to get a more robust amp clamp to be able to actually measure this, I suppose. Let me go ahead and put it back on here. Yeah, so like with the alternator charging, it's actually showing that there's current going into the battery at 10 amps. But yeah, I suppose this thing does a pretty good job, but you know what? I don't really need another clamp meter. I have plenty already, so I'm gonna give this one away. There'll be a link down in the description below for how you guys can sign up to enter the giveaway. And be sure you subscribe so you don't miss future giveaways. But yeah, thanks for watching.